Yes, people, what's going on? Raps on TV, back again, reporting live from London. The music's still rolling. It's about to fade out though. There you go, engineer right on point. So what's going on, people? Back again. Long week it feels like, to be fair. Pretty busy weekend, mainly on the US side of things, and a show in the UK, one show in London. But happy to be here with my co-host Tom. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, nearly forgot my name there.
No. Something came on my laptop.
No, but all good, coach. Good to be back. You know, bringing the energy. New and refurbished headquarters, you can say.
I like that.
Raps on back again. Make sure you subscribe, follow, stay tuned to tonight's podcast. Got a special guest. I'm going to let him introduce himself. At Raps on TV on all platforms. And yeah, leave it at that.
I was going to say, don't do the guy like that, man. You got to build him up, do a bit of a drum roll for him, you know what I mean? We're talking about South London's finest. Jeez! Coming out of Brixton, representing Spiders, WBA, great knockout, stepped up. Man like Craig Richards, a pleasure to have you in the building. It's been a while, but really happy to have you here, man. Thank you for coming in. How you doing, champ?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just out here, and you know, we working always.
I like that.
You know, so yeah, I've done my training sessions for today, and now we're here. I mean, we're gonna get into the summer. Everybody's had a busy summer, but we saw you were down in Jamaica. White parties, black parties, so you're obviously having fun. That's good to see as well. But you came back, you straight back into training. I mean, how easy was it for you to adjust and just kind of get back into the swing? Not easy, you know. I'll be honest, it wasn't easy because, as everyone always knows, I don't really take any breaks at all. And even when I go on holiday, I usually train. Like last holiday, I went to New York. But every morning I was in the boxing gym till later afternoon. Then I'd go out after that. So I'm always in camp 24/7. So Jamaica's been actually my first holiday in my career. The rest is more training camps or boxing as well. So when I come back with the time zone difference and the jet lag, I got straight back in on the Monday, and I felt exhausted. I felt exhausted, I'm not gonna lie. It took its toll on my body.
So it's a bit of a change of location, you know, moving out, you know, to obviously we'll come into the States, talk about the inter kind of gym sparring there. But yeah, like your holiday in Jamaica, was that just a kind of a phase to have, you know, that bit of rejuvenation?
Yeah, because I thought, you know what, if I go to all these other countries, because I always want to learn my craft, so if I go to a lot of these countries like America and that, I always know that if, say, like I'm in New York, this used to be like the mecca of boxing, I've got to see what it's about, I've got to see what the fight is about, I need to glove up, I'm bringing my stuff. My gum shield's always in my bag, no matter where I go. But I thought, if I go somewhere like Jamaica, it's nice sun, sea, and good food, I can just relax and just, you know, go out with some friends and just relax and enjoy myself for once, rather than be boxing related. So I kind of chose there, and it was good. It done just that. It took, like, obviously I did still go gym a couple of days, but nothing boxing. Yeah, done the trick.
And what's the cultural heritage like in Jamaica? Like, what's the, I mean, like, kind of like looking at the exotic side of Jamaica, but did you get a chance then to kind of, you know, go along the shores, do a little bit of kind of, say, warm weather training? In a way.
I did go down the shores and that, but I didn't do anything like extraordinary. Sat with a couple of the locals, spoke to them, see how it is for them, what they're getting up to, and then life's different over there. And one thing I realised when I was in Jamaica is that we don't live life here. We all we do is we just work to survive, to swim above water, pay bills, and the time the weekend comes, you're so tired from the week, you don't even want to see anyone, you just want a day to rest. So you don't really live here. But in Jamaica, like, even they're working, so they got their little, say for instance, they got their barbecue store. There was a guy, he had like live lobsters and crabs he's picking up from the cage to cook on there, and say it's like £40 for the lobster, and he's got regular customers. They sit out there 24 hours, they're just sitting there relaxing with all their friends, cracking jokes, they make their money, they're not in a rush, they just relax, listen to their music, and they just live life and enjoy life every day. And that's not what we do over here. So it just kind of gave me an insight. That's why it's good to travel, just give you different insights of what different people are doing.
In a way, that's what we call plugging out the matrix, right? You kind of go to a different country, see how they live, you know what I mean, appreciate like just the natural foods, the sunshine. People realise or don't realise how important that is and what that does for just your social element, your mindset. So 100%. Yeah, I'm pretty certain when you were back, and I'll say back home because the roots are Jamaican, right?
Yeah.
So that's back home for you, no doubt. I'm sure you were feeling really refreshed, doing a bit of press ups, running on the beach, and me getting it going, good old jerk. So yeah, nice, good. But before we go on with the interview, just wanted to say to the listeners, today's agenda, we're going to be touching on the Fury fight. Obviously, I think the major news out of that was the cut that he suffered. Obviously, also Devin Haney, he fought on a DAZN card on Friday. and apparently he's got a pending visit to the UK, so we'll touch on his sort of, what we say, potentially 2019, what the rest of the year can have for him, and we'll also go into the Warren card, potentially some opponents for Craig Richards, in terms of Cody Davis and Shakan Pitters. But yeah, we're looking forward to that. So guys, do not forget, if you're going to call in today, number is 01506 353 955, and the lines will be open at 8 o'clock. I know it's a Champions League night, so guys, forget that classical music for about half an hour and get down to unboxing news, but also subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube page. So yeah, definitely, like I said, good to have you in the studio, Craig. It's been a long time watching yourself. Obviously I've been linked you for tickets in the past as well. I mean, how, I want to say, the last 12 months, it was around a year when you were first supposed to have the Jake Paul fight. That got cancelled. Then you fought him earlier this year. And then you had the Sterling fight. I mean, the last 12 months, how have you, do you look back in your career, what's your actual thoughts on it?
My thoughts was, I took the short notice fight, Cardiff, about a year and a half ago, against Frank. And I remember that day, I remember even having 2 breakfasts trying to make the weight. And I was only still, I got in the ring probably only like 12'4", I was small at the weight. I was still super middleweight realistically, even a small super middleweight, because most super middleweights even get in the ring heavier than that. And I remember going back to the drawing board thinking to myself, if I'm going to be like, this is the first time I've done 12 rounds without a training camp, and a lot of times at super middleweight, I felt drained. I was lower than my natural body weight, so I was losing punch power coming fight week, so it weren't all adding up. And I remember after that thinking, you know what, the fact I can do 12 rounds without a training camp, imagine I grow back into my natural weight. So I went back to the drawing board and done all of that. And then if you look leading up to the Sterling fight, I had 4 fights at light heavyweight, all winning records, and I stopped all of them within 3 rounds. So I realised my punch power was back, my energy system was back, and everything was just different. My training was harder, like I could train harder for longer, and I'm just a complete different character. So it's like certain times people will think, oh, do you know what, I can beat him because I see flaws at him at super middleweight. But it's like, you might as well scrap that whole guy. You're fighting a whole different kettle of fish. And when you look at me at light heavyweight, everyone's touched the canvas. Everybody's touched the canvas, and most of them, more than 90% of them, 4 out of 5 have been knocked out within 3 rounds. And even the ones who got knocked out within the 3 rounds was hitting the canvas even before that, before they finally got stopped.
It's true.
So you can see, when you look at it at light heavyweight, considering most the best light heavyweights we have, I've beat the most domestic champions. I've been tried and been tested. I've beat the most champions in the weight. I've been tried, I've been tested. So it's a situation people think always feel to prod for me, but I just think I'm the wrong one.
And psychologically, physically, although the transition maybe from 168 to 175, 7-8 pounds more or less, I mean, what would you say was the harder thing, knowing that you weren't maturing as a fighter when you moved up in weight, you were carrying that punch power, comparing that to, say, when you had to deplete yourself to make 168, you know, having a big frame, having to sort of reduce your, I suppose, your mass, really, your density. How would you kind of compare the two?
The problem, I wasn't allowing my body to grow at super middleweight. One thing I was doing, I was sitting around weight off and on season. So even when I wasn't fighting, I would only blow up 4 pounds, 5 pounds max above the super middleweight limit,
which is a good thing.
Which is a good thing. So I'm making the weight pretty easy. But what I wasn't allowing my do is I wasn't replenishing my body properly again and starting camp properly. That's why I could take the fights short notice. I had a few fights, because what even happened with that fight, why I took it on short notice, I had a fight scheduled a few weeks before, just a little 6-rounder. It got cancelled. I think it was against Tyrone Booth, and it got cancelled. He came in too light. I was out of camp. I got a call on the Tuesday, Wednesday, saying, look, are you still fit enough for a 4-rounder for Belfast? And for Saturday, I said, you know, I can always get 3-4. I said, put me in. You know, they put me in.
Show me the money.
Money's there. I'm there. So I went out there, and I went Belfast, just me and Peter Sims, and we went over there, and I got my guy out within 3 rounds. At that point, we had found out, unfortunately, Callum Johnson wasn't well. 1 week out from his box office fight for the Commonwealth and British. They've both done a 12-week camp, you know, and there was already problems with the card because of Joshua's opponent got changed and Takam filled in.
Oh yes.
So then we couldn't now scrap the British title as well on the card because it's a pay-per-view card.
Yes.
So when I got presented this, look, you need someone who needs to jump in here, and I said, you know what, I ain't trained for this fight, but I believe that untrained or trained, I can go and beat anyone.
And you'll find out that level.
That mindset, though,
you need that mindset. I might have been, what could say, I might not have been, I could have been a bit ambitious, but considering I wasn't at the weight, the guy had more than double my experience.
But the opportunity presented himself, and I think
myself, and that's what I'm here. I'm not a cherry picker. I know I was telling her at the time. I could have said, "Nah, let me protect my record. Let me make sure not to take no risks." But I went in there and performed, done my 12 rounds, 116, 113, whatever, on points, and I said, "All right, cool. Where have I gone wrong here?" Took the fight short notice, but that's because I'm always keeping myself at around a reasonable weight. I'm always in good nick. That's why I took that on last notice. Took that one 5 days. I remember when I got presented the fight, we was in the bar. Obviously I wasn't drinking, I don't drink, but me, Eddie, and everyone was in the bar. This was 2 o'clock in the morning. They said to me, look, this is it. I said, look, if I am going to take it, I need to get to bed. It's 2:30 and it's 2 in the morning. You're talking about next week. So I went to my hotel, slept on it, woke up in the morning and said, yeah, you know what, just put me in. I was in Ireland at the time, flew in that night, went to the gym Monday, sparred 4 rounds, Tuesday sparred 4 rounds, then went out to Cardiff, public workout, presser, weigh in, and I fought. So I trained 2 days for my first 12 rounder against the British champion. So
I mean, I just want to stop you there, because again, when you look at that as a defeat, as it were, and it's obviously your only defeat, there's still some positives in it, in the sense that you went 12 rounds, you've gone up the division last minute. So clearly, even that loss for you was something. There was something that sparked in your brain and said, you know what, I think I can hang it with these guys.
Well, if I can hang with the best at the time, British champion at light heavyweight, when I was an inexperienced super middleweight, untrained, and he's done a full camp and go 12 rounds.
And he's shown his power when he
showed his power. He knocked out 15 out of his 23 fights. He's knocked out 50. He's got a high knockout percentage ratio. So this is one of the biggest punches at the weight above me.
Yes, exactly.
More experience, and I've stepped in and come short on points. Never got hurt. Never got hurt at any point. You know, at any point. So it was just like, it was just a fitness. He just was busier in the rounds. You know, and that was the difference. So that showed me at that point I can do 12 rounds untrained against the champion at the weight above. So obviously I took a lot of positive from there, but I never used that to think, right, I'm ready to go. I thought, but what did I do wrong? What can I improve? Build into the weight. Now you got to build into the weight properly, touch up certain things, and we're ready to go. And at that point I'd done that, up my training, upped everything else, and that's why I just started dispatching of everyone at the weight. And this is why a year later, after fighting my first light heavyweight fight, I'm practically the #1 domestic fighter now, exempt the 3's moved up to world level.
Was that do you think that was the light bulb switching that you needed in your career, knowing that you were coming up against Buglioni, who is an experienced campaigner? You know, he'd shared rings with world level fighters.
He boxed for a world title.
Knowing that you were underprepared, but I suppose in your mind you probably thought, walking into that fight, you have the capabilities of putting up a great test. You know, really taking Buglioni to deep waters, showing yourself the potential that you could showcase on such a big platform, you know, profile. And I think a lot of people in the boxing world probably give you a lot of plaudits for taking the fight, knowing that you were moving up. It was Buglioni, who many deemed at the time before he fought Johnson that he was, you know, the real the real deal.
So I did. I took a lot of positives from that, because I look at it, if any other fighter, even in our division now, done that, didn't train for a 12 rounder and jumped in the ring, I'm 100% they'll get knocked out. Look at the 2 fights before when he won the British title. He knocked out what people say one of the best domestic fighters who had a 12-week camp. He was the champion. He knocked him out.
Yes, exactly. And as simple as that, you knocked him out. And I remember watching that, because it was like the I want to say 11th or 12th round that he knocked him out in.
Yeah.
So he's a war as well.
Yeah.
So it goes to show that he keeps his power late.
He keeps
so
his power from 1 to 12.
that's what I'm saying. So for you, even you would have not expected, but you know, if you'd looked at it on paper, you would have thought, well, you know what, Craig's which is going to go in there, but maybe 10, 12, we might see him get tiring. If Buglioni's got the experience as a champion, he should have. He should try to be doing that. And I remember, because actually I remember being in Cardiff and actually didn't look too bad. I think the key thing for me, I remember saying, was probably just the energy. And I remembered, you're right, the fight was close.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? In terms of you just had a fight in Belfast. So I just think maybe a bit more distance. Obviously Buglioni retired as well. Who knows? If he had a full camp,
I believe it would have been different.
But I do want to move on, because I think one of the highlights of your career, and I hope people can really appreciate that, was the Jake Paul fight.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, that was you really going up, underdog, pure underdog.
Yeah.
Jake Paul was giving it that, I'm going to kind of like really test him. Yeah.
Probably like a lot of the guys.
Right.
He had a high knockout ratio percentage at the time. I think he knocked out like 9 out of his 12. High knockout punch ratio. He was a former GB boy. You know, when I turned pro around the same time as him, he was the poster boy. I was boxing on cards, and my face was on the poster, and I was on the cards of his.
I remember some of the Next Gen shows as well. He was always up there.
The guy called Jake Paul, the Blade.
And he had the back.
And he called me out. That's what people forget. He called me out for the fight.
I didn't realise that.
So I accepted his challenge. I told him, as I say, I'm not the one. You know, and his career from there went into tatters. I dropped him 3 times, stopped him by the 3rd round, and I was the underdog in the bookies.
And that was the thing. I remember, especially the technique. I think on the last one, it was like a little feint, and then and he just literally
one of those looping right hands over the top.
He just went down, and you just thought, okay. And I think for me, when I saw that, I was like, right, you know what, Richards is a player here. I think not necessarily in terms of saying, oh, he's going to dominate division, but I thought, you know what, this is clearly somebody that has brought the power up, faced the challenge, because like you said, you were the clear underdog going into that, and you got to say to yourself, do you know what, with the right training, the right mindset, anything's possible at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean?
As I say to you again, look at this. After, when I beat Jake, right, I got the recognition for it, 12-1, right? Most fighters would have boxed opponents like him for maybe a British title, right? Let's reverse back. After I done 1 6-rounder, after my 7th fight, I boxed the guy 12-0, unbeaten with 6 knockouts at super middleweight when I wasn't even experienced, who has a bigger amateur pedigree than me and a professional pedigree, to beat him for the title. That's another fight I could have boxed for the British title. People don't understand, I've been tested early in my career. I've beaten unbeaten fighters after 7 fights against a guy 12-0, 6 knockouts. Even the guy I beat, as a tickover fight, the Portuguese champion, the #1 in Portugal, him, since I beat him, he beat 3 champions and only come up short first defeat the other day, and he took it on a week's notice against Martin Murray, and come up short the other day on points after taking it on 1 week's notice. I beat him on my 9th fight. So people don't understand, I've tried and been tested.
So on that, and I'm going to ask you, that one is slightly controversial, but I've got to ask you, like, do you feel you're getting the push that you deserve, or that some of your tests have deserved? Because I think, well, okay, there you go. And why? What do you think? What should we be seeing from your team, the background team, in terms of pushing you for fights? You know, what's the route? Is there a strategy?
Do you know what it is? It's not necessarily my team. It's the boxing world. Everyone just listens to what other people say. So you're looking at the division. If this man vouches for him, then it's that guy. If he says he's the best in boxing, it's him. If he's the best prospect in Britain, it's him. So it just catches on. So whoever he vouches for, then everyone thinks that's the guy. They don't. No one takes their time out to look at your CV. I've just told you, not my CV. How much people would even know that?
I mean, to be fair, especially, I mean, I remember the Portuguese fighter. I remember he was tatted up, and I remember thinking, yeah, this is an interesting challenge for you. You dispatched of him, but I agree that I didn't. He kind of just went away.
No one thinks of this. No one thinks about my early fights, beating unbeaten fighters. No one even notices in the light heavyweight division that I've beat the most domestic champions. No one does. I don't get the credit for nothing.
And you've had probably your GB assessments while you've been fighting those first 10 fights.
That's what I'm saying. I've had that GB assessment. Do you know what it is? And it's because of when I turned over, I didn't come from the Olympics. I never come with a gold medal from the Commonwealth. I never come with any of that. So in a selling point, remember, it's a business. If you're selling a fighter, when you're looking to sell me, what points you coming to sell on?
Yeah, I mean, but you say that, and I would say, and this was down the list, but I have to retort it, is that your fan base is probably one of the biggest, like, outside of, do you know what I mean, like, let's say a world champion level fighter, like your fan base, we see people wearing the t-shirts, you see a bunch of noise, whether it's York Hall, O2, like,
they buy to his story. Like, I think they're more the people, the guys that go to York Hall, they go to the O2. They're more in touch with Craig because they probably see, you know, that he hasn't been spoon fed this whole GB pedigree or platform.
Because do you know the good thing of what I've done? When you beat live opponents, look, you beat a journeyman. He's coming maybe with his one mate at best. When you're beating these live opponents, they're bringing people from their country. They're bringing everyone from their area. They're doing their 200, 300. So when you're beating these opponents, some of their fan bases now become your fans. So this is why my fan base is growing. So behind the scenes, all the pieces of the puzzles are getting put together. It's just that until the guys at the top start pumping and pushing my name, the rest of the casuals won't be talking my name so much.
Yes, I mean that's what guys like us are here to do, really, because we want to bring the exposure to all levels, and not even just from the UK. You know, I mean, I know obviously your promoter's got deals with DAZN and such forth, but I really want to see a bit more of a crossover. So guys like yourself getting a bit of an opportunity out in the States. Do you know what I mean? Not saying like head in the card co-main, but you know, even if you're the third, fourth fight, do you know what I mean? Just get touch the waters out there, like understand what goes on, the fight fans, and maybe from a technical point of view, like, you know, the atmosphere. I really think we should see some more of a crossover, and guys like yourself are sort of like the stories for that, you know, guys like Chamberlain. There's a lot, in my opinion, Lemon Richards, there's a lot of guys out there that could really cross over it and actually build a bit of more of a fan base over there.
Because I've seen a lot of, like, a couple of American fighters I've seen people from America there, they've come up to me and said, Spider Richard, I saw your fight on DAZN. Good fight, man. See? And you're like, oh, right, you saw it on DAZN? Yeah, it was on DAZN, man. Like, and I'm like, oh, I'd even, you know, you see the promo of DAZN USA, but you forget that they actually put it on TV.
That is true, and that's a fair point, and that's a good thing, because at least that is widening the coverage, and again, for your fan base, because we really want to see you. I say not even in more exciting fights, but we want to see yourself, obviously.
That's exciting.
I was gonna say,
I've had 2 grudge matches back to back.
So all right, let's talk about and I'll let Tom get the next one, but I just want to say, talk about, like, something that doesn't get mentioned a lot is just, like, again, your learning and your development under the Sims banner, as it were. I know you got obviously your friend Boxer Don, he's obviously someone that supports with the training, but him and the Sims, how much learning are you gaining in the last 12 months, not just from the fights but actually being in the gym? And
massively, unrealistic, like I can't even explain how much. The boys in that gym, they're serious talents, like they're not even just boxing wise, their ability, like, as an athlete, like when we're doing runs with them, what we're doing circuit training with them, they're machines. So when you are training with them, you have to push yourself to the limit. It's like you got to have a pre-camp to have the camp with them.
Like, good banter as well,
it's
right?
very good banter. But we'll just banter each other on, you come last in that race, or you like, and you'll get stick for the whole rest of the day. People come to the gym, oh, do you know why, man, he's timed, did you hear his time this morning on the run? I think, oh, mate. So you have no choice but to push on, and you got to remember, some of the boys I talked to in the gym, although I wasn't from that GB and Olympian, it was the boys he was, but most of them was in the GB squad, most of them was Olympians. You got guys probably in the GB squad from 9 years, 13 years, etc. You got obviously even Joe Cordini, he just come out there, he was in the squad for a while. You got all these boys, so even down to the smallest things of talking to them about recovery, talking to them about nutrition, talking to them about strength, resting, when to do what. Just the little conversations, they're helping you level up. Oh, why are you doing that? Oh, what, my mum to? No. Oh, I didn't even realise. So it's like, when you're around top athletes, it rubs off.
Iron sharpens iron,
right? So that's where that comes from. So it's not necessarily, obviously I'm getting great sparring with the boys in the gym anyway, because I got the boys, I got boys in the gym who turned pro after me. I've got seasoned veterans who've been before me, so you're getting a mixture of the spar with the fresher players like John Doherty, and then you're also getting the seasoned pros like John Ryder. So it's such a good mix of learning so much in that gym.
That kind of leads me on to my next question, because you got I mean, the lower weights, you got Joe Cordina, Charles Frankham, probably put Ted Cheeseman in that mix, but he's more kind of Martin J. Ward,
Ricky Burns,
Ricky
Felix
Burns,
Cash, Conor Ben.
yeah. And I think as well, like knowing that, you know, with your own career, you've had a bit of frustration where these fights haven't materialised. When it comes to sparring, the way Peter Sims navigates, you know, the sparring, gets you into shape, you know, gets that top elite level, you know, sparring. How difficult can it prove when, you know, you've got these lighter guys that are probably working more on your technical, your speed, stuff like that, but getting rugged, you know, 175 fighters into the gym.
Yeah.
Is there any problems ever with like attracting these guys into the matchroom?
I often spar. I have a very big light heavyweights, cruiserweights, and then I'll touch up more of my speed work with the likes of maybe like John Doherty, or if depending on our weights at the time, maybe I feed his Cash, and I got speed work in the gym constantly like that. But then these boys are very tough, they can hold their own anyways. They're not just speed, they got power, they got, you know, they're strong athletes. And then I also always bring in a lot of cruiserweights for the more weighty guys, the bigger punchers. I always mix it. So if I do a lot of rounds and I mix my sparring with a lot of people doing rounds, I make sure I've got a few light guys, a few heavier guys, and a few like big punchers at my weight too, and get a good balance. Yeah,
keeping camp fresh, you know, having rollover spars. I mean, well, now especially when you're going into the championship distances, you're going to have your 8, 10, 12-week camps. From boxing fans, boxing pugilists, however you want to kind of describe us, how kind of like knowing what a boxer goes through day in, day out, changing things up. I mean, do you ever kind of feel like sometimes a little bit of a dampener on the camp where you probably, there's some days you're doing something repetitive, or do you find that instrumental having, you know, exercises, drills that just go over the same fundamentals?
It's funny because we do things kind of the same, but we don't do anything repetitive. So each week we know what we're doing, but it's different from the last week. Then we switch it up. So it's hard to explain. I don't want to steal our ideas, but it's never too repetitive. But it's very effective. So when we go for a camp, we've got a camp plan, and it gets us ready to the T. When you look at all the boys in the gym, the one thing you don't see them do is fade. You see in their fights, like win, lose or draw, they're fit, they're strong, they're getting that 12 rounds out, you know,
and they're enjoying the holidays.
So obviously the method that we've got in the gym is working.
Do you feel that formula, that I suppose, because at the end of the day, you know, Tony can't really do everything on his own. He's got to have the guys like Boxer Don, you got Peter in the gym, you got even, I suppose, the management side of things, the advisors, etc. Charlie's obviously in there with you guys. You know, you see fighters, they build such a good close-knit relationship with their trainer. I mean, how important has Peter been to you? I know he's a guy that probably doesn't get a lot of credit, as much credit as what he deserves. You know,
when you look at it in hindsight, like when I was amateur, I had a small amateur pedigree, and it was like a lot of people knew I was talented. But when you're not coming with the Olympic CV and the GB stuff, a lot of top trainers won't want to sign you. Peter had come and watched me in the amateurs, so he watched my talent in the amateurs, and he said, I know you ain't got a big thingy, but I can see you're talented, I'll sign you. Everyone else wouldn't have really gave me that look in. He's the one then got me onto Matchroom, introduced me to Matchroom, etc. Got me on the shows, and from there obviously I proved myself time and time out with the tests that I was thrown. Because obviously I'm not Olympian, then no one wants to waste their time or invest into a fighter if he's not going to be worth it or meant to be at that level. So I know why I was obviously being tested to see, is he good enough, and I kept passing all the tests, but it wasn't, if it wasn't for Peter Sims, I would have never had that platform or the position to go out and do that.
It's an old cliche, everyone judges you off your last fight, your last form, your performance in camp, you know, outside of camp, etc. I mean, more so kind of outside of the camp, the conversations that have been going on in the boxing world. We had obviously last weekend Sam Jones come out and say, with yourself and Cody Davis as a potential British title eliminator. Would you say that's
not eliminator, fight for the British title?
For the British title.
Yeah, because he was meant to have done a final eliminator. I already won my final eliminator. I'm mandatory for the British. Of course, then the purse bids went out for me to fight for the British, but obviously Boatsy has moved on and he's vacated the belt. So then it was okay, who's next in line? At that point, obviously you got the golden contract going on. All the boys from that are tied up into the tournament, and then surprisingly, out of nowhere, we've got 2 eliminators, the Cody Davis Saccelli one and the Ricky Summers and someone else one. And so I saw it was scheduled by the board as a final eliminator, but what threw me off is because final eliminator is 12 rounds, they only done 10.
Yeah.
So
and we've seen with final eliminators in the past, Dylan White, he's had plenty, hasn't he?
100%.
Things haven't materialised in terms of that confirmed shot for a world title. So.
Exactly. So I've just got to sit and be patient. I don't mind if whoever we get. I'll get myself ready, prepared, and go. I'll go and pick up my title. And that's what it's about. I'm just waiting for the dance partner so I can get myself prepared and go out and win that title. It'll be a good year for me. If it was someone like him, that would be 2 unbeaten fighters in a year, 3 top prospects, and 2 titles I've won in the space of a year, British and WBA Continental. So it'd be a good year to finish the year, to go to have my Christmas dinner and put my titles next to the turkey.
And what did you make of the performance? I mean, we'll get onto the Frank Warren card, but as I said, specifically there were 2 fights in your division, Shakan Peters versus Dex Spellman, which was actually a rematch from the UB Ultimate Boxer fight, and then we had Cody Davis versus Saccelli, but 2 super middleweights coming up to light heavyweight. I mean, from each performance, did you see the fighters, and was there anything that made you think, yeah, I want to mix with either one of those guys, or did you say to yourself, like, there's this guy definitely one next?
I'm going to start off with let me start off with the first one, Dex Spellman. Shakan Peters, Shaq for the win. Shaq's my guy. I like Shaq. I know him.
Dean White.
I know Shaq very well. He's a good guy. And both of them, credit to Shaq for winning, but Dex Spellman put up a hell of a performance.
It was a cracking fight, right?
They both performed brilliant.
Yes.
No, I know he didn't get his hands raised in the end, Dex Spellman, because Shaq put on a hell of a performance to win, but he still, I think most light heavyweights, if he boxed them on that night, he would have beat him. So that's why you got to give Shaq a lot of credit, and you got to give Deck a lot of credit. So both shout out to the pair of them. I thought they both put a tremendous performance on. And Dex Spellman's no mug. He lost in the Ultimate Boxing to Shaq. I was there ringside for that, funny enough as well. Even that was a good fight, but it's over 3 rounds. You can't take a lot from it.
Exactly, a lot goes on.
A lot goes on. It's scrap because you're rushing. You get caught with silly shots and stuff. So you won't take a lot. And the only other fight is the Scott Westgarth one. He lost. Rest in peace, Scott. And you know what I'm saying, he bounced back from that, and he went out and won the English title. He beat the English champion. So we know obviously he can't be a mug. You know, Shaq's then gonna beat him, so he can't be a mug. So I just think them 2 are very good fighters. I believe that the other 2, I don't really know a lot about them. It was probably like Zach I've watched before because he boxed Umar.
It was a good fight as well.
It was a good fight.
Actually boxed well.
The thing what I noticed about Zach, because he boxed a guy I boxed before, Adam Jones. So sometimes when I watch Adam Jones, I just tune in to see how the other prospects get on with him. And he loaded everything in the kitchen sink in the first 2 or 3, and then Adam Jones started walking him down in the last couple of rounds. I noticed he done it with Umar. He dropped him. He loaded everything in the kitchen sink, and later in the rounds he was getting walked down. Then you notice that Cody Davis, he dropped him, loaded everything in the kitchen sink first 3, then for the rest of the 5 years of survival mode. So for me, something he's probably gonna have to look at with his team. But I did go to have a little peek at them in the weigh-in, to have a look. You know, cameras sometimes lie, BoxRec lies. I'm a lot shorter on BoxRec than they tell everyone, which is good. So I want to see what it's like in real life. I saw them, and the first thing I looked at was actually, I thought he's definitely still a super middleweight. His body structure. Cody Davis looked like a big guy. He looked like he could settle into the light heavyweight division, and I think that was the difference, stomping ground between the 2. I think he just was a bit strong for Zach in the later rounds.
It's true. Yeah, I think as well when you look at those 4 guys, you know, I mean, Shakan Peters is a bit of a freak of nature, really, isn't it? 6'6", big guy. Then obviously you've got Cody Davis, who we all know has got the credentials. He's boxed for Wales. He boxed, at quite a good level at amateur.
I think he was a GB squad, wasn't he? As well?
GB squad as well. So he's kind of dived into that realm. And Saccelli, again, like you said, there probably isn't a natural 175. So I mean, if you look at these guys, if they're emptying the tank, knowing that they ain't the biggest of light heavyweights, what problem does that give them when they come up against someone like you?
Light heavyweights, well, it'll be a different ball game, I believe. But we don't know till we get them in there. I believe that, as I said to you before, one thing is why after the Buglioni fight is I remember one thing, because Buckley's a very clever guy. He had said the fight week, I remember him specifically, it stuck with me. He said, I moved up from super middleweight.
Yeah.
He said it takes just about 8 months to a year till you grow into the weight properly. I thought, nah, I'm ready. And
Can't tell me nothing.
I noticed that as you look at even my body structure from my first one back to my fourth one back, I'd grown and developed into the weight. It does take time. It doesn't take a good camp.
Yeah.
Because anyone can make any weight, just eat loads of food and whatever, but that doesn't mean you're going to perform well.
And you're not balancing the kind of the nutrition with the actual boxing activity.
Exactly. So when you grow into the weight properly, it takes a period of time. So I'm not sure how they would get on. But Cody looked like a big guy, so I'm not sure. I don't really know a lot about him, to be honest. The first time I kind of watched him, if I'm honest. So I can't really vouch on him. I've not really seen a lot of him.
Yeah, I suppose that kind of gives, you know, a lot of fighters a bit of confidence, knowing that, you know, it's not like the amateur scene where we've seen guys turn over pro because there's that gap between, say, you've got your flyweight and your bantamweight, 52, 57, 59. Yeah. You've seen a lot of guys, they can't even that fraction of weight, they can't just, you know, chip away and make the weight comfortably. You've probably it's probably actually, looking at your career, the way it's unfolded, it's probably a positive knowing that, you know, you can still perform well at 168 when you go up to 175. You know, then after, say, you know, 6, 10, 12 months. To
be honest, because you look at when I was at 168, although I say I weren't performing, I left 168 10-0 the Southern Area champion.
Yeah, exactly. So that says, speaks for itself.
So, and that's without my punch power or my energy system. But that's because the one thing I've always had is tremendous boxing skills.
Yeah.
So obviously we grew up in the era of Floyd and stuff, and we appreciated good boxing, the art of boxing. But as I was doing that, I realised that just boxing skills doesn't pay.
Yeah.
It's all about, people want to see something dramatic. They want to see someone get knocked out, or they want to see, you know, they want to see
it's like the
rough and tough.
Yeah, exactly. They want to see more of a broad and real boxing, which is
that's why when I turned to light heavyweight, I switched my style and just started getting them out of there.
Yeah.
And you know, and I think that's, my fan base has grown a lot more since I've started to just dispatch of them.
Is that retracting from the boxing style? We know ourselves that you carry, you know, an array of different skills, you know, your repertoire of punches, but knowing that you've got that performance element where like you touched on earlier, coach, about these big deals with DAZN, seeing the guys in the States looking at him and thinking, we want him over there, wants excitement. Do you feel like you have to please a certain kind of group of people with your performance, or do you kind of just stick to what you know and the rest will?
You can't. To be honest, we're in the entertainment business. If you want to do that, go to the amateurs and go and win some medals. Because it doesn't care. It doesn't matter how you look, as long as you're coming up with the goods. Everyone's like, oh, he won that. Oh, he's our champion.
Yes.
In this business, it's the entertainment business. Listen, why did boxing die for so many years? Clearly because Klitschko was the king of the heavyweights. When you get these guys like that, they're jabbing and grabbing, no one's tuning in. And if no one's tuning in, you ain't got an audience. It's not a mainstream because the money's not generated. When you got the likes of Anthony Joshua and Wilder then turned over and started getting everyone out of there and becoming champions, that made everyone tune in. Everyone started seeing, that's what everyone wants to see, knockouts.
And it's the truth. I know it was a bit. It was probably the message wasn't delivered in the right way, but Chisora Parker, when he flipped out at the press conference recently, he was right. What he was saying is that, look, they want to see us big guys knock each other out, and you kind of have to half agree with it, even though you'd say it's not a title fight. That fight is propping up the card just as much as probably the Progress Taylor is propping up his card to make it a pay-per-view fight. So I feel he delivered the message in the wrong way, but I totally understand what he was trying to say.
AJ beat Klitschko, that it was back, and what he means is the end of the era of the Klitschko era.
Exactly.
The jab and grab now is back to heavyweights, knocking people out.
I mean, you're seeing him against even when he just beat Spilka recently,
knocked him out cold.
Cold.
And look, everyone was like, that fight was brilliant. We loved it. Like, look, a couple fights ago, he lost to Dylan White. Everyone was like, you're done. Pack it in now. He's like, why? You lot are so negative. You take one loss, you lot think you got to pack it in. That's not how it works.
Yeah, and Chisora's always been kind of the victim of that, really. Even when he fought, you know, Fury, David Haye, Klitschko, Vitali, like, he was always played down as that person that if he didn't turn up to a fight 100% prepared and lost, he's done. He's done.
But then look, he comes back and knocks Spilka out in fashion. Everyone's ranting about him again. And do you know what? As sad as it sounds, like, I will watch all sorts of kind of boxing, because I'm not just a boxing fanatic. I'm a fan as well as a participant. But I've sat there and watched it with a lot of casuals, and I know great fighters who are effective what they do, and fans are like, he's rubbish. I'm like, he ain't rubbish.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's good. Look at him, he's slow, he's boring. They don't want to see all of that. And it's like, also with the smaller weights, a lot of casuals don't like watching small weights sometimes, because they think it's not going to be a knockout. But they don't understand. Someone like Josh Taylor, he can knock you out.
Yeah.
He's strong. He can punch. He's a good operator. But a casual just sees a lighter weight and they're not going to tune in. Now they see Chisora against Parker. They know there could be a knockout. So now they're going to tune into that. So a lot of people might come to the arena for Chisora Parker.
Yeah.
So he's saying, look, I'm selling out the whole place pretty much. I need a cut of the pie.
Yeah, we are going to talk about those purist fights, the Taylor Pro Grey. I think is it Nue Dene is another one. But as you said there, you're a fan. You welcome all boxing. You're quite inclusive to the boxing game. We had a press conference in America this week. KSI, Logan Paul. I got to touch on that, man.
Yeah, no, 100%.
What's your thoughts?
Like, shout out to them. They're very smart. As I said, professional boxing is a business. They generate a lot of money. They sold out the arena last time. Not even professional boxers, 2 head guards.
Yeah.
They sold out and done loads of numbers. Eddie Hearn's a businessman. They generate a lot of numbers and a massive audience. All the kids, all the YouTubers, all the kids watch these YouTubers. So 100% all the kids are going to tune into that boxing show now. That gives a lot of money generated back into boxing and good for Matchroom Boxing's business. Also, people on that TV card's now going to get exposure. Yeah. You know, I remember when I was fighting Jake Paul, and you know, I go into school sometimes and things, or I talk to my niece and nephew, they might have their friends over, and they're like, oh, who are you fighting next? And I'll be like, oh, Jake Paul. They're like, Jake Paul? They're thinking I'm fighting a YouTuber. I'm like, who's that? What, Jake Paul? You're fighting Jake? I'm like, who's? You know, like, that's all they care about. So it's smart to kind of bring them in the boxing world. Yeah.
I suppose, like, you know, sometimes boxing can be a bit of a funny one, because I mean, me personally, when I watched that KSI fight, I think he fought that Joe Weller, I didn't take really much from it, as in I didn't think it was a discredit to the sport. I thought, you know, KSI's got a little bit of technical. Okay, he's not of the same caliber of the elite guys, your Lomachenkos, your Canelos, etc. Well, I'm nowhere near that.
Or domestic
even. But I think a lot more people probably would like to appreciate this kind of new phase of boxing, where you're attracting a younger clientele, you're getting people to come in, younger people from YouTube streams, channels coming in to I suppose uphold the purity of the sport, whereas a lot of people have probably put it down as it's going against this this pure patriarchal.
As a purist, it won't excite you. So I'm a purist. It doesn't excite me, to be honest. Like, as you said, they had a press conference. I think I saw a few posts maybe on Instagram. I didn't pay attention. I have not watched the press conference. The first fight, I still ain't watched the first fight either. It's not really something what tickle. I'm a boxer. I like the real boxing, real raw boxing. 2 talented guys. I know it's because these guys know the YouTubers. I don't know them, so it doesn't draw me in. But that's why I say I can see why they've done it on the business aspect. But for the purists, I don't think a lot of purists will be that interested.
Back to yourself. Big fights hopefully will come soon. We're still waiting for a date and I suppose an opponent, location to be dropped.
Send me the location.
Anyway,
Russia, Moscow.
Fancy heading out to Chilibix.
I'll be there. Just send me location.
So actually, that's a good point to raise. And I wanted to get in with the KSI logo, but we'll move on. Yards, obviously, his performance. Again, another guy in your division. I really want to get your thoughts on your division, but Yard specifically, Yard versus Kovalev. Thoughts on that fight? How it went down?
Where should we start? We jump straight into the meat of it.
Meat in it, yeah. Why not?
Basically, the fight itself, good fight. I think Yard put up a good performance for himself. I think there was things that people probably thought that, oh, maybe if he gets hit, it could be chinny, it could be this, it could be that. He answered a lot of questions. He went out there, he gave his all, and that's all you could ask of him. So he put it all on the line. He come up short this time, and he'll learn from it and come back again.
Did you see a more technical side to Yard this fight, knowing that the expectation, the pressure on him, or did you kind of see that resemblance of his kind of cautious but yet so unpredictable style?
I don't think you know, Yard has a good punch variation He's a very good counter puncher. I've known Yard for many years. We sparred many rounds. He's a good fighter. I feel like I think he had a game plan. I think the game plan was to take Kovalev to the later rounds.
Yeah.
So I don't think he went out there to display so much of what he could do skill-wise and that. I think he had one game plan. Yeah. Not one game plan. I think the main game plan was to draw him into deeper waters and get him out later on, which he nearly did. He drew him in. As we knew, he'd get tired by the 6th. He did get tired by the 6th. Yeah. 7th, we saw him breaking down a little bit. He got instructed to go and get him out in the 8th. Now he put everything in it. 2 punches away, and his engine ran out, and then from then obviously it was a downhill spiral. But it was a game plan that they went to execute, and it nearly pulled it off. So credit to him. He tried it. He rolled the dice. He came up short this time.
Yeah, I think 2 points kind of, because we spoke about it a few weeks back, saying, well, I didn't give Yard many rounds. If I'm being completely honest, I think Kovalev, I think he stamped his authority on the fight. But do you kind of feel like when you don't have that killer instinct, where he had him rocked in the 8th, he didn't, poise and just go for the jugular? Do you think that's a lack of experience, or just a lack of calculation, knowing to beat these elite guys you need to have a bit more then?
It was experience. I think it was a lot of experience, because I think like when you've boxed in hard fights, I think like you understand sometimes when to maybe step off and step on, step off and step on, and it was his toughest fight, and it was he was then had to go to that place where he needed to go back into the experience basket of previous fights of what he should do now, and he'd never been put in that position. So it was an unsurety thing of what I should do now. And some fighters, when they're unsure in that position, they'll go 2 ways. They either just take their time, or they just go for gold. And he had a decision to make, and his corner told him go for it. He was unsure, so he went for it. And maybe it wasn't it could have been the right plan if it landed a few more shots, or he didn't get tired. But it
wasn't far. I mean, to be fair, it wasn't far away. And I know you said it's true, he didn't give him a lot of the rounds, but I have to say I didn't feel that he was overwhelmed, or really, in my opinion, heavily dominated. I think yes, he was getting beaten to the jab, but I think, in my opinion, I don't think he was trying to lead with his jab. I think he was more focused on the body. We kind of know that's Kovalev's weaker areas, and I think that was the game plan, to eventually just totally unload. Probably there was just a lack of experience. Okay, I'm not a fighter, but just watching it, I felt probably that was just the only lack of experience that he showed. But he rolled the dice, as you say, and he almost done it. So I think, again, sometimes a loss can give you as many plaudits as a victory. And I think that was, in my opinion, one of those scenarios.
And regardless of whether it was a knockout, brutal knockout defeat, going maybe 8-9 rounds, or even the points defeat, I think the way you kind of channel that negativity when you're going to have people coming back to you saying, well, it wasn't competitive. I don't think Yard did himself unjust. I thought he stuck in there, but I just think Kovalev, he's not necessarily an overbearing fighter, but he's a guy that can definitely keep you at bay with certain shots.
I think he's gone in there, his game plan was never ever to go in there and win the fight on points. So I think, like, Kovalev probably did win nearly most of the rounds, and Yard got the 8th round, but he got that 8th round because that was the game plan, get him out.
That's what I mean, and he thought that was the time.
He thought that's the time. So he had the game, as I said, that was his main objective, his main game plan. It just come up short, and this is where it could be to make it. It could make him go back to the drawing board and say, you know what, I could have done this better, I could have done that better, and comes back out and he's a different fighter. And again, I mean, I have to be honest, I just felt, going into the fight, I know Kovalev is was the season champion, but I just felt, going to Chelyabinsk, not really in terms of the quality opponents Yard had. I didn't think that it was a big jump. I know Andre watered it, but it was the truth. It was a big jump. So I have to give him full credit, and I think I'm glad he's come back. I don't think the criticism's been too hard.
No, it hasn't. I don't think
in these kind of scenarios, and Craig will sit here and I'm sure say the same thing. If you're a fighter and you don't believe in your ability, then just give up, because 100%. You need to believe in yourself. Okay, when the bell rings, okay, you might not win, but you need, you know what I mean? You need to be going in.
You don't believe that you're going to win. You have no chance.
You have no chance anything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or you might do what that bloke did when they run the bell and he just walked.
He climbed out.
I forgot the guy's name, but he fought FA Jaguar.
One thing about him, I always admire him from when I boxed with him in the amateurs.
Yeah.
And stuff. He's always been composed, always confident.
Yes.
If he's going to fight, he'll be confident when he fights.
There you go.
So he's always had that relaxed aura about him.
And we saw that as well. I think when we went to Body Power,
Yes.
we saw the exact same. You know,
Very composed
talks to people.
Relaxed.
Doesn't get too overwhelmed by the exposure.
Yeah.
I think just knows that.
I mean, even I would even say probably he was a bit too chilled. I was watching him in the skin, but it was good. You know, there was no diva behaviour. Remember the water, the luggage, all of those kind of antics, and he was kind of just going with the flow with it.
We both boxed in championship, and we'd both. Obviously, I met him previously. We both won the box cup together. I won it light heavyweight. He won it at cruiserweight. So we kind of. I think like we both got awards, and there was about 3-4 of us out of the hundreds who got pulled aside. Like you lot was like the 4 best in the tournament, so we kind of like looked at each other like, who's this guy?
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
But so after that, shortly after that, we then met again in the championships. As he was doing cruise, I was doing light heavyweight, and then he is from East London, obviously I'm from South, so we met in the London finals. We was all there, and I remember like I was like 2 bouts or something before him, and everyone was like, you know, I'm sitting there thinking, oh, London final, I need to win this, thinking, oh, what's going on here? And he's cracking joking. I'm like, bro, you know you're in like a couple bouts after me, like why are you so chilled? He's like, bro, like what it is? And I'm like, okay, I'm like, I need to pick up that mentality, because right now I'm just uptight until I get my victory.
Different personas, isn't it?
And exactly, and I was going to say that. So we've got caller on the line. We're going to go out to 734. I know this is. I want to say it's Dwayne. Hello.
Hey, what's up, Dan?
What's going on? Is that Dwayne?
Dwayne.
Yeah.
I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Not too bad.
What's on the brain? Question or statement?
I guess just a statement about Fury, really.
Okay.
Go for it.
I don't know. I guess it's an example of why taking those kind of bum fights are not actually good, because if you get a tough night like that, you know, it can have like a negative impact on your brand, really. I mean, even if that was kicking off in the BT studios, it's gonna have like an internal impact on the team, etc.
What was your thoughts on those comments, Dwayne? I mean, John was very kind of vocal about getting Tyson to step away from the corner, and I suppose having brought, you know, guys on board for the camp, being out in the States, not having the accessibility to his son. Do you kind of understand where he's coming from, or do you think it was a bit harsh?
I think it's a bit harsh when you consider the performance against Wilder and the performance against the other bum, I can't remember his name, but
Tom Schwartz.
I think it's a bit harsh. That's Tom Schwartz. But yes, I think as far as saying he should cut the camp off and all that stuff, get rid of Ben Davis, I think that's a bit harsh.
Yeah.
But it still ultimately is a bit of a negative on Fury to have a tough night against someone that no one really knows in boxing. If that was a fight against like Dillian White, or you know what I mean, someone a bit more credible, then you wouldn't really get no negative criticism. But because it's like, again, someone that no one really knows or cares about, you know, not really good, is it?
Yeah. No, I hear you on that. I mean, would you give him any benefit of the doubt? Because the cut was quite bad. Would you give any benefit of the doubt to the cut in terms of how it would have played with the tactics? I mean, when I watched the fight, I didn't watch it live. I caught up with it, and I was impressed by Wallin, but I didn't know whether I was just saying, well, I didn't really give Fury a lot of criticism. I was thinking, well, actually, Wallin's really risen to the challenge. But I think we saw a different Fury, and I don't know. Would you not blame the cut at any point?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't disregard the impact of the cut, but at the same time, even Ben Davis confessed in interviews post-fight that Fury didn't look right in the locker room before they even came out.
Yeah, that's right. He said about his feet, didn't he?
Well, yeah, that's right. He said he was a bit heavy on his feet, etc. And some of the comments that his dad made, that there weren't a lot of sting in his punches, is accurate, because having a cut on your eye is not going to take your power away. It's just going to have an impact on your vision. So it seemed like he potentially wouldn't have put on the greatest performance anyway. Who knows what was going on behind the scenes, etc. But again, as I say, if you have a tough fight against a credible opponent, you're not going to get that much backlash. When you have a tough night against like a nobody, that's the risk that you run with fighting these kind of fighters. You know?
Yeah, Craig, your thoughts?
Yeah, I believe I agree totally with what you're saying. I think that's 100% spot on. I think when you fight them sort of fighters, I think like you need to just be getting them out and making a statement. And when you now end up having a tooth and nail with them, it doesn't look good, because then you start comparing that fighter to the other top fighters. Imagine he fought an AJ, imagine he fought a Dylan White, imagine he fought a Wilder, they would have got him out of there. So now it lowers your stocks. So the risk to it is really negative. And I feel like and it's a game of, I believe that everyone who like there's fighters in the heavyweight division who are boxing tough fighters. Like Tyson always gets at Anthony Joshua, but when you look at his resume and who he's fought, he doesn't get the credit. People are like, oh, who has he fought? But then look who he has fought in 22 fights. He's boxed top positions way before his time. And in Tyson Fury, people say, oh, he's the best in boxing, but he won't then go and he ain't beat as much top oppositions as an Anthony Joshua. So swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
Brings it back to that kind of entertainment factor, doesn't it? Because if you kind of judge Fury off his last performance, like no one's going to really kind of say, oh, that's a worthy, you know, selling point to the wider boxing fans. You got Joshua, who's been in one of the most thrilling fights of the year and the most eagerly anticipated rematch of probably the last 10 years. You know, but yeah, I agree with Craig. I think I think he doesn't get enough credit for his resume, but also
the casuals don't really tune in to Tyson Fury as much. You do get a few casuals, and you get obviously all the boxing fanatics and that who appreciate the skills. But I think like as I say, they want to see knockout, they want to see explosions, and I think that's why casuals, grandmas, little kids, everyone watches the likes of someone like AJ instead of Fury,
or potentially even a Wilder. I mean, I do think, and just to kind of follow on with that point, I find it interesting because I still feel that the Ortiz fight, I do feel Wilder will get him out of there, but dangerous things can happen. And I think, going back to Dwayne's point, one of the dangerous things for Fury now out of this fight is that he's got this cut, which looks very big. The same plastic surgery, potentially he's out for a while, maybe. And everyone's probably going to start focusing on, well, if Wilder fights him, Wilder's going to focus on that area.
Yeah, but I feel even 5 months from now, that would have healed.
You feel 5 months is enough?
If you think about it, he doesn't have to start sparring for another, say, 3 months. So even if he wanted to train, it doesn't mean he's got to spar. He could do pads, he can go for runs, he can do all that sort of stuff, and then he can get a bit more hands-on technically towards his sparring, close towards the date. So I believe like 5 months from here, it shouldn't really affect him.
That's what we hope so. But it seems the rumours are that potentially we're looking at pushing the February fight back.
No, because he was talking about Wilder wanted to fight someone else.
Exactly.
And he was saying that he's contractually has to fight February 22nd. So if he breaks that contract, then Wilder's going to have to fight him no more. He wanted to get a fight in for December.
Just to add to that point that you guys made there, if they do officially push it back, in my opinion, it will be more so because they're now concerned that, you know, Fury might actually be right for the Wilder fight as opposed to the cut.
100%.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that's why he wants Joshua next.
Yeah.
And you also take into perspective.
Sorry, the thing as well is that if Ruiz beats AJ in December, then Wilder's probably be happy to just say, oh, fuck the Fury fight and just look straight for the Ruiz match.
Yeah.
I think PBC, Al Heyman tomorrow, that'd be very easy to put together and just fuck off the whole Fury fight.
100%.
It's true. Yeah, I think as well when you got Ortiz to contend with, I think they were saying something about December Wilder Ortiz. Whether I see that as being realistic, November. 23rd, so I do. I think you definitely raise.
Because for me, I feel Wilder's not going to be ready for February from November.
No.
So that's why I feel that he's looking for a way out. And I know everyone's saying the contract signed, but I do think there is an angle potentially. Like Heyman's a very smart guy. I think there's a way out.
He'll get out.
They will, exactly, and it's especially if Joshua beats Ruiz. I think the key here is Joshua beating Ruiz, because I think that's where the biggest money is. I don't even think the big money is with Ruiz Wilder. I think he will go for it for the belts, but I think
the money's not there.
The money's not there like Joshua. Dwayne, just wanted to get your thoughts on not next week's fight, not this weekend's fight, but fight in the future. Sean Porter versus Errol Spence Jr. You looking forward to that one?
Good fight, you know, that'll definitely be a good dust up, as they say. You got Porter in his aggressive ways and he's coming forward with his mad defense button and all this business that he does. You know, you got Charles Spencer with his aggressive nature, power punching, body shots. That's gonna be an explosive fight, man, because none of them have got Craig in them.
No, definitely not.
Definitely watching that.
No, definitely, man. So I appreciate your call. Any last words for Craig or you?
No, not really, man. You guys just fold it up and, you know, we all love boxing and let it be.
100%. Appreciate the support as
Cheers,
always.
Appreciate the support. Cheers.
Yeah, bless, man.
Bless. Yes. So what I wanted to talk about actually, and it's going back to the light heavyweight. It was announced last week that Canelo is fighting Kovalev.
Yeah.
That's a quick turnaround, to be fair, since the Yard fight. When you heard that, I mean, obviously, do you think, and this is probably a bit harsh, but would you say, like, Canelo's probably doing a bit of a cherry picking within the light heavyweight division out of the guys with belts?
100%.
Okay.
We know he's over.
Yeah.
No disrespect. He's done. And so he's just here to, like, I think he's cashing out now.
Yeah.
And Canelo just trying to just cherry pick and pick. Because he wants to say I was a light heavyweight world champion, super middleweight world champion, etc. So it's another weight division you can put on his list.
Yes.
He wouldn't go and fight a Bivol, he wouldn't fight a Turbo, he wouldn't fight Fox, none of them.
Gavotzik,
he
even
was
a
too small
Stevenson,
for
I know
them.
he's not, but even a Stevenson before that, he
Yeah,
wouldn't have
he's
fought
too
those
small
guys.
for all of them, and they're still fresh and ready to go.
Exactly.
He's just getting over the hill. We know that Kovalev's going to face.
He's got high mileage.
Yeah, and he's going to get him out of there, I think.
Does Canelo get any extra credibility for stepping up to this new, I suppose, new horizon where you've got, like you mentioned, there's a Baturviev, there's a Bivol, there's a Gavozic, guys that are, you know, still fresh in their careers, young fighters.
No, but yes. Do you know the problem is? Sometimes you could be, I know it's going to sound silly, but sometimes you can be too good for your own good.
Yeah.
So no one will give him credit because he's so good. They'll be like, yeah, you're expected to beat Kovalev. But if another man from like middleweight or something stepped up, even at Overhill Kovalev, they'll say, oh, he's a brave man. You know, if Andrade stepped up, you'll be like, oh wow, he's really stepped up here. He's going for it. This is interesting.
Yeah, even Billy Joe Saunders.
Yeah,
right?
you'd feel, whoa, he's stepping up all day to light heavyweight.
Yeah.
Wow, like he's risky. But where Canelo's so good, you're just like, oh come, we know you can beat him.
Yeah.
So we're not going to give you credit.
Yeah,
It's naivety in a way, because like, okay, Canelo, he's proven himself. He's a special fighter, but it doesn't matter. I don't think it matters. We've seen it with Pacquiao when we've seen, you know, fighters go up to fight Pacquiao from lower weights, and Pacquiao has just proven that he's just too good for them. So I think with this one, it's a bit of a comparison in terms of different stages of their career. You've got Kovalev, who's at the end, you could say, with respect.
Look, let's break down facts. And
exactly.
He was unbeaten in how many years? Something unrealistic.
Yeah.
You look at his last 6 fights. He's lost 3 before Yard. He lost 3 of his last 6.
Exactly.
And got knocked out, stopped in 2 of his last.
And even
6.
the guys that he beat, one of the things I was saying why I thought Yard could win was the 2 guys he beat. They were all over. They were both over 34.
Yeah.
So I felt it wasn't like it was fresh.
He wasn't fresh guys, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And even when he won his belt back, it was on points. It wasn't the crusher where he used to.
After getting stopped.
After getting stopped, he nicked it back on points. Where he used to the crusher with devastating right hands coming in, jab to the. He was just trying to jab, move, box, and go back to his raw boxing skills.
Yeah. So no, I totally agree with you on that one. So last point before we move on, I guess we quickly spoke about the likes of Devin Haney. I mean, do you feel, I want to say the real deal, but obviously after his fight he's called out Lomachenko. Do you feel that, you know, from what you've seen and what you've heard of him, do you think he's really that guy that could really become the zone sort of figurehead in the US?
As I say, the casuals will go by what the top guys say. They say it's the next big thing.
I like that.
Everyone will say it's the next big thing. So to build him as a brand, we know it ain't going to be hard for a good promoter. Look, Eddie's a very good promoter. He'll promote Devin Haney very well. And look how quick he's turning around. A year ago, he was talking about Devin Haney.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Eddie got hold of him. Now he's the best thing in world boxing. So, of course, anybody, if they're promoted right, can be promoted to be a star. It just depends on who the guys at the top want to make the star. right now it's his time. Whether or not he'll go out and then get put in a test to prove that and be able to keep at that level, it's a different story. We don't know until he's there. So we can't really have an opinion until we see him go through the fire.
I've got a bit of a mixed feeling on I suppose similar to Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney. These guys, I think, although they've been brought under the Matchroom wing and the Top Rank wing, they've been put into a division where at the top you got Lomachenko, you got Komi, and if again, like you said earlier, like if you're gonna prove yourself and have those experience fights, not cherry picking like a lot of the US fans who have probably seen Haney and these guys through the Olympic cycle in the US, they want them to really kind of step up to the mark and know exactly what level they're going to be performing at. So I don't see why Haney or Lopez should be going backwards. They should be looking at each other, looking for a fight between each other maybe next year.
How many has Devin Haney had now?
22. I want to say it's 20 something,
24,
20,
I think 24 fights.
A lot of fights. Is at that level?
Is that exactly? Yeah. So that's what I think is the fight that it just called. Was it for an eliminator?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that he would fight. I want to say Lomachenko. He's got to fight one more eliminator.
Yeah, because he probably got a world eliminator. Probably has to fight a final
eliminator. Yeah. So and then the last one, because we keep talking about eliminators. Your man, I'm gonna get this. Dillian White, MasterChef. Were you supporting him last night?
I ain't had a chance to catch up on it yet. Don't kill me, I ain't had a chance to catch up, and I saw little bits and that. I saw he had gone through. I'm interested to catch up on that though.
I'm seeing a bit of an unfair advantage here because I'm thinking like he's coming with the spices, he's coming with the flavours, and we're seeing these contemporary chefs.
He's bringing us all the smoke. But I just want to say, talk to me about Dillian White in terms of, I know a lot of the South London guys, we met them, they've been in the show. I'm not going to say influential, but he's a bit of a rock in terms of giving opportunities, giving exposure for guys. It sounds like he kind of takes, say, under the wing, but talks to them. So, in your words, like, what does Dillian White represent to the guys down at Miguel's, Peacocks? What does he mean for you?
He's taken these guys under his wing, signed them. He's given them opportunities that they never had before. A lot of them was on small hall ticket shows. No one knew who they was, and he signed them. He's got them on the big platform. He's got them on Matchroom, put them in big fights, and said, look, you want the opportunities, here you go, prove yourself. Here's the tough fights, now the rest you can do yourself, but I'll give you the platform. He mentors them, talks to them, makes them believe in themselves, and you know, he has camps with them, he trains with them, they train alongside him, and they get ready to go. So he's got a good relationship with them and he looks after them.
Good. And any chance of seeing you on Smoke Sundays in the future?
We saw it. Was it Chris Congo and Freezy? They had a little bit of a spat. I mean, and we've seen fighters with yourself going back and forth, and we've seen the business was taken care of in the ring. So
I'll take care of my business.
That's it. He wants all the smoke. So Craig, listen, appreciate you coming in this evening. Look forward to seeing some news from you in the future. Hopefully we get to see you out this year, if not obviously early next year. Keep ticking away.
Definitely got to be this year.
That's what I was going to say, but you know how the boxing game goes. We're already in September. Then before you know it, I think Matchroom probably got about 3 bills in the UK.
Yeah, they got. So was it next show's in Italy? I think
you got the September one, which is the Pro League. Then you got the folk. Felix Cash was on the one announced today. That's the Manchester, and then I think I'm presuming they always do a December card.
There's going to be 2 more cards.
2 more cards, yeah. So there's an opportunity.
Potential return to York Hall.
Nah, not what I've heard.
It's bigger than that now, man. It's bigger.
No, but what I'm saying is like, because obviously headlining the York Hall, like we've seen it with Sonny Edwards the other day, like a guy that's probably, you know, on the fringes of a world title shot. If you put it into perspective, there's a potential rumour of a Sho Ishida fight between himself. So no disrespect, but it's definitely something you can look at as a.
Did you know that I basically headed the first ever Next Gen show for Matchroom?
The one that was at York.
York one, they had the.
Alan Higgins.
Yes, yeah. And Chamberlain was on that. It was Chamberlain. Cash was on it. O'Hara wasn't on that one.
No, Chamberlain, Cash.
Cheeseman was on
Bellotti.
it. Yeah, Bellotti as well. Yeah. Cheeseman fought the American guy on that card. Was it Carson?
Carson Jones.
That wasn't Carson Jones.
Cody Chamberlain.
It was a good fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done a few of them. I must be the next generation now.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying, man. It's about time.
Generation 8 for
putting it into practice.
To be fair though, but it's about, like we say, it's getting that experience, getting that jump up, especially that you've moved division. I think that's probably one thing that we'll probably forget.
Okay,
is
I
that
upgraded at super midweight now to upgrade that.
that's what I'm saying. So listen, we're gonna make a move, but just want to say everyone for listening, for the past, present, and future. Thank you very much. Do not forget to subscribe on YouTube and like on Facebook. Show will go up tomorrow. Appreciate all the fans. You can find us everywhere. I'm gonna let Tom do the honors at.
No, I just want to firstly say, if you want to shout out your, because I know you got he's coming. He's coming.
The merchandise. And you know, I got to shout out you guys. You know, you lot supported me from a long
Appreciate
time.
That.
You know, you bought merchandise, you bought tickets, you bought. You know, you guys. You
always shouting your name.
So you lot are real, real guys. You know,
appreciate that.
I got to say that because a lot of people, you know, they're in the boxing world, but they don't keep it real one. Do their part. But you guys, love all the
appreciate
time.
that. Much love for that, man.
Family.
So Instagram, where can we find you?
_ Craig Richards.
Facebook.
Craig Richards.
And Twitter.
Craig L Richards.
There we go. So listen, appreciate that, and we're out, guys. Take care. Enjoy the boxing this weekend.
Perfect, man. Proper. You brought us a new USP. Just brought us